Love, an experience so profound, so life-changing, is often seen as the source behind every man's greatest accomplishment. I'm sure a lot of creatives can also attest to this. Love, in a way, is one of the best gifts to an artist. When love arrives, it heightens our senses, supercharges inspiration, and gives us the confidence to bring things to life we used to be too scared or doubtful to bring about. In a world where anything you make can be torn to seconds with no remorse, love can feel like an oasis. We Are All Trying Here brilliantly captures this. The story follows Hwang, a director who has been chasing his debut for 20 years and the only one in a now famous film club formed in his college days, the 8th, that hasn't debuted. The series starts in his rock bottom and consequently when he meets a producer, Eun-a, who helps him rediscover his self-worth. Warning, there will be spoilers up ahead. When I saw the synopsis, I had a feeling I knew where this K-drama was going. Our main character starts as the punching bag of a group of highly insecure characters, but then meets a girl who will help him uncover his potential and through the power of love become crazy successful, dumping this so-called 8 club in the process. And while the drama sort of follows some of that, I was surprised that it did not end with Hwang leaving the 8 club, but rather with him rekindling with the members. This was when I realized that the K-drama wasn't just telling the love story between a down-in-his-luck director and an exhausted producer, but also a second love story. One the audience would probably find more relatable. This love story, however, doesn't present itself in soft and gooey moments, but rather it presents itself as hate. I'm talking particularly the story between Hwang and Park Gyeong-se. When the story starts, it's made clear that these two are natural enemies. While pretty much everyone in the club doesn't like Hwang this often ranges from irritation to embarrassment. But Park Gyeong-se's hatred is totally next level. He talks behind his back and actively lobbies for him to be kicked out from the club. What's ironic is that in his tirade against Hwang the man's prediction that his movie will bomb ultimately ends up coming true. With this, I was fully expecting the show to make Hwang and Park Gyeong-se switch positions, where the latter ends up as a failure of a director as a sort of retribution for all of the mean things he said, while Hwang the one who finally ends up becoming the successful movie director. But as the drama continued, I was surprised that it was actually spending a lot of time showing Park Gyeong-se's internal journey. For a man I thought the show wanted to frame as a villain, it sure seemed to give him a lot of empathetic screen time. That was when I realized that We Are All Trying Here wasn't like most K-dramas I've watched. It didn't have a black and white positioning of its narrative world, but rather was interested of telling the often confusing, contradicting, and ironic nature of the human experience. And that was when I started paying more attention to the two's relationship. Most people say there's a fine line between love and hate. This could be attributed to biological and psychological reasons. They're both intense emotions, enough to affect one deeply and change their course in life. I could definitely sense this love-to-hate dynamic between Hwang and Park Gyeong-se. Though I just want to clarify that the love I'm referring to is the general kind, so in my analysis, I'm mostly talking about philia, the brotherly love. Unless you want to see it as romantic, but I'm leaving that up to you. After all, wasn't it repeatedly emphasized in the show that the two were inseparable in college, but drifted away across the years? And so the question lingers. Why? How did the two start attached to the hip but then turn into two mouths screaming at each other? In their case, we can attribute it to one thing: insecurity. For Hwang it's his insecurity with himself and that he hasn't reached his peers' level. And for Park Gyeong-se, it's his insecurity with the quality of his writing. These two, from knowing each other so well, knows each other's weak points. And as a result of this vulnerability of having their worst traits displayed in front of each other, they instead lash out against each other. This makes you realize that the show makes it clear that what you hate or dislike often tells more about yourself than the person you're up against. Beyond Park Gyeong-se, the rest of the 8 Club are also irritated by Hwang Man because of their own ego. People often create hierarchies in their mind, usually to reaffirm their position. But seeing someone like Hwang Man that doesn't seem to give a damn to this hierarchy can be hurtful to an ego that wants to affirm its superiority above others. Here, the drama is trying to tell us to be more introspective of our hatred. It also shows us that insecurity can corrupt the love we have for the people we hold dear. But is there a chance to right the wrongs? While difficult, the show does give us a way, and that is through accepting accountability of our actions and changing ourselves moving on. I thought the drama would show us that Hwang Man wasn't insane or illogical, and that it was just simply his environment that deemed him so. But then it surprised me that it also highlighted Hwang Man's bad habits. While he is presented as a lovable character, the drama doesn't make any exception with him as every other character in showing his dark sides. The storyline often centers on him facing his mistakes. A path for him and Park Gyeong-se to be friends again is only made when Hwang Man finally admits to his mistakes and bears out all of his insecurities. Love is such an all-encompassing thing, and watching Hwang Man and Eun-a made my heart swell. And mind you, these two didn't even have a single kiss throughout the drama. I found it refreshing that the realization that they both liked each other wasn't the stereotypical flustered stuff, though they did have some sort of that moment. There was also no love triangles between the sisters or the guys, which I kind of expected for a K-drama. It truly just showed us their appreciation and love for each other, showing how people who are even in their worst can find comfort in each other. But We Are All Trying here also covers the other end of the spectrum, the part of love we often ignore. This is the part where you know each other too much. You know exactly where to hit to hurt. But the show tells us to overcome this terrifying part of human experience, we must hold accountability for our actions, be honest, and express our appreciation even if it undermines our pride or our ego. When I started this drama, I was in the middle of a depressive episode, and I'm forever thankful for it because it helped lift me out of that place. Through its nuanced storytelling, showing that life is never simply black or white, it gave me the reassurance to look at my own life the same way. It gave me the space to forgive the good, the bad, and the complicated parts of both myself and the people around me. Most stories about personal growth involve someone finding themselves in a different environment. A new city, a new group of friends, a fresh start. But We Are All Trying here doesn't do that. It begins with a club and it ends with the same club. And I think that shows the bravery of Hwang Man. Instead of running away, he chose to confront the sides of himself most would ignore. Of course, none of this would have been possible without love, particularly the love of Byeon. Sometimes, all we need is the reassurance that one person believes in us, and that belief gives us the courage to confront the things that scares us the most. What I love about the show is that it doesn't necessarily end with everyone living happily ever after. There are still many loose ends. It makes it clear to us that these characters will still continue to experience pain and hardship, but it also tells us something even more important. Whatever challenges they face, they will overcome them. As Byeon says, I feel attacked, afraid, but it's not going to kill me, and I'm not someone your words can kill. Whatever story we may find ourselves in, a story of rejection, love, hatred, or friendship, We Are All Trying here, through its lovable yet imperfect cast, reassures us that just like them, we too can face the things that stand against us. Oh hey, you're still here! I'm Mac, a girl who likes talking about things that interest her. And if you like the stuff I made so far, I hope you stick around and subscribe, because I'll be posting much more content very soon. Bye!